but what we're not doing at the moment, Carl, is going back to the situation we were in March, and I really don't want to do this. I don't want to go back to a national lockdown where the overall guidance is stay at home. That is not what we're saying. We want to keep the economy moving. We want to keep young people, pupils in education. But the only way we can do that is if we all follow the guidance and depress the virus, get the virus down by following that guidance and keep things moving as much as we possibly can.
We're seeing quite fast growth in some areas of the country. It's not uniform right the way across the country, but there's clearly fast growth in some areas, and those numbers are going up. And unfortunately, as we've seen, not only cases going up, but we're already seeing an increase in deaths. So things are definitely headed in the wrong direction.
It is possible that there is a difference, Robert, now in the way the disease is expressing itself in the country. We are seeing some very clear local peaks, just as I think, and Chris has made this point to me and publicly, just as there were local peaks in Italy and other countries. And it may be, and it's too early to say, but it may be that again this is a more localized phenomenon this time, in which case all the more reason for us to concentrate on these local solutions as well as the national solutions.
You are completely right that this small number of deaths now shouldn't reassure us that we won't be in relatively short order in quite difficult places, certainly in the regions where we're seeing significant growth at the moment, where pressure on the NHS could happen sooner rather than later if we can't get on top of it really quite fast.
Yes, numbers of cases are going up, hospitalisations are going up, ICUs going up, and unfortunately, very sadly, so are deaths. And that means that this is headed in the wrong direction. There's no cause for complacency here at all. And sticking to the social distancing rules,
I think people always highlight the differences. In fact, the similarities between people's responses are considerably more striking than that. But there are inevitably variations, and a lot of them are to do with what is the local traditions about how things are actually operated, how people socialise in different spaces, which do vary. They genuinely vary between different countries. And then some of it will be to do with what seems to work in a local environment. We're all, however, trying to pick our very difficult way between doing not enough and therefore not getting on top of this virus, and doing too much where we do get on top of the virus but do unnecessary harm socially and economically. And it is, the economic impact of that on health in the long run would be substantial. So trying to find a way through, and it is slightly different in different countries, and in some cases a bit more than slightly different, but I think that the differences are always highlighted, and the similarities, I think, are actually much more striking.
So just listening to this, I realise there is a slight danger of people getting the wrong message from this, in the sense that, yes, of course, and you're right to pick this up, Chris. Yes, of course, it is more acute in these particular local areas, but it is vital to stress that this remains a national threat and a national challenge, and we all have to fight it together. We can't just expect it to be solved, in the parts of the country which we, think are particularly affected. It's down to all of us.